let's talk about darkness for a moment. From what we have seen, Transformers Prime is certainly darker than what we've come to expect from Transformers. But there's a reality to it that both makes it work and shows that really it's perhaps less about being dark so much as not always being in the light. This is not simply darkness for its own sake either. It allows for the exploration of themes that the franchise hasn't been able to really explore before, such as RC's psychological hang-ups about having a partner due to her past loss. We have to get into the darkness of that wound in order to watch her finally begin to work past it and heal. Darkness is not used to create atmosphere in this case. It's a byproduct of allowing for more mature ideas to be explored in the franchise than have really been able to be explored before. The human characters in particular show that things are not simply dark. While yes, we saw Raphael placed in mortal peril thanks to Dark Energon, and there's other situations that showcase the nightmare that it is to fight giant killer robots, the human allies are a bright spot in this for the Autobots, their presence a reminder that this isn't war for its own sake. The scene in One Shall Rise illustrated that effectiveness well, when Bulkhead, RC, and Bumblebee all assert that they're willing to take whatever risk comes from Unicron, not to save the abstract faceless human race, but their partners, their friends. I admit, I was initially rolling my eyes at the idea that Unicron was the core of our planet, but the storyline managed to convince me. Structurally, it gave the story the impetus for Optimus to make the sacrifice that he does, as it creates a situation where the destruction of the Earth is inevitable, and he won't allow himself to fail another planet like Cybertron. One Shall Fall did a fine job of setting the stage for One Shall Rise to evolve from it. While I still find the idea of planetary alignment a bit silly of a justification, nevertheless the work effectively built tension while showing that Optimus had finally been pushed too far and would no longer tolerate Megatron's madness, that he was prepared to finally destroy him once and for all. An ironic situation given everything else that follows after that. One Shall Rise successfully threads the needle with its use of Unicron, giving us the enormity of the threat that he represents, while keeping things at a level that our heroes can operate on in opposing him. Forcing Megatron and Optimus, after attempting to kill each other, to have to work together in order to face an apocalyptic threat, created a fascinating dynamic. One could see the hints of what Ratchet would speak of, that there had been friendship there once, now turned to animosity, but in this situation, old patterns resurface. The solution to the Unicron threat cleverly adheres to that established in the original 80s movie, while this time actually explaining how that could actually be a solution, and it develops naturally from the idea. Yes, there's a small degree of stretching, but the story earns the latitude by having strong character, unique action, and an emotionally rich narrative. It's a brilliant twist then to lead into Orion Pax as the finale does. You can see there is a sense of sacrifice in Optimus Prime's actions, but your assumption is going to be that it will be literal, that one shall indeed fall. But we see what Optimus suspected that he would lose, that which allowed a clerk with a noble heart to become something so much more, to essentially be the Autobot equivalent of Captain America, to allow the body to reflect the spirit within. And now, that's gone. One Shall Rise showed us our darkest hour in terms of the scale of the threat that they faced, but Orion Pax showed us our darkest hour on a personal scale, when the Autobots were without the leadership that kept them going. They could fight Unicron for their human friends, and they could fight Decepticons for their noble Prime. But with him gone, they flail about in frustration. Yet through this situation, the Autobots and their human friends are placed in a position where all shall rise. Everyone needs to overcome their own personal doubts and strive to achieve the impossible, to give back what was taken from Optimus, and in so doing, give back what was taken from them, their hope that they might triumph. The choice of Jack shows the wisdom that Optimus had. He saw in Jack the ability to meet and overcome the obstacles that would try to thwart him. And he likely foresaw that Megatron would never think that a lowly human would be entrusted with such power and responsibility, giving him an edge in completing the mission. But Jack truly handled this daunting task, without doubt, without second guessing. He had faith in himself because Optimus had faith in him. Exploring the history between Optimus and Megatron also created an intriguing character dynamic. Megatron has an ulterior motive, yet many have been commenting that, to them, it was clear that he was enjoying having his old friend back. Now, personally, while I'd like to think that, I think he was enjoying that he was using his enemy to now advance his own agenda. But in either case, the presence of that relationship shows there's a tragedy in their enmity. Unchecked ambition was what it was that drove such a wedge that old friends began this arc by trying to kill each other. The 9 episodes of the series that we've covered have more than convinced me that Transformers Prime was a worthwhile outing. It took a very different look at the series, but in a way that wasn't disrespectful to the property. Much like with Beast Wars, my initial skepticism was worn away by quality storytelling. Transformers is not a 30-minute toy commercial. It's a rich world with so much room to explore in so many different ways. And while I still wish Transformers Animated hadn't been shut down, Transformers Prime was no mistake. If anything, the two programs show they operate in such different worlds they could have easily coexisted. We live in an age of needless reboots that seek to use nostalgia as a vehicle to justify going back to the well. But Transformers' capacity to reinvent itself over and over, emphasizing engaging characters in well-told stories, is what has allowed it to endure the waxing and waning of public interest. Fads come and go, but a story that sparks the brain and touches the heart will always be timeless.